Baby, let's talk about that debate last night with the KamalA Harris versus Donald Trump. And if you watched what I watched, then you would know that our good sis, our future Madam President, wiped the floor with Donald Trump. But I don't think that any of us expected anything less. We have seen this woman in debates before take them down to the ground. We have seen her in the Senate prosecuting the case against people that are coming before the Senate Judiciary Committee. So we knew that she was already going to rise to the occasion because she's qualified, she's competent, and she's ready. And she did just that. This is my debate analysis, and I think that KamalA Harris did an excellent job in introducing herself to the country. The reason I say that is because we have to consider that just because we ride for her at dawn, everyone doesn't. And everyone doesn't know and has not been following her candidacy as a prosecutor, as a DA, as a senator, and even as vice president. Because there was a New York Times poll that came out 2 days ago that said out of all the people that they polled, trying to be reflective of people, that 20% of those people felt like they didn't know enough about her. They didn't know enough about her. And so when I heard it, I'm like, how could you not know anything about her? But I get it. Because who's taking the time to actually research what the black woman did? So that's okay. I got you. I see you. We see each other. I mean, not that the woman was a heartbeat away or currently is a heartbeat away from the presidency. Not the number 2 in command and you don't know anything about her. But I get it. Okay, if that's what it is, let's get into that. So what KamalA Harris did in her very first answer, not only did she tell us we was going to hear lies from Donald Trump, but she introduced herself. She told us where she was from, how she was raised, what her background was, what her morals, her ethics, her values, her vision was. She did it multiple times during the debate. And I think it was strategically placed in moments and in positions that she knew people would be watching. At the start of the debate, I'm pretty sure when we get when we get the numbers to see how many people actually watched the debate, majority of the people started off in the beginning. As with most television broadcasts, as with most radio shows, at the top of the hour or whenever that show starts, that is when you get the most viewership. So even when I think about my profession, when you've seen me on news shows, if it just comes on and I'm one of the very first guests, that is kind of like a coveted position. They call it the A block because most people that are going to watch the program are going to watch the top of the program, and then typically people fall off. Even with like YouTube, think about it. You start, and if it's not good, you dip off, right? But you check in to see what's up. So at the start of it, she's introducing who she is, and I thought it was masterful. A good way to introduce herself, and I appreciate the fact because I think it's strategically that she's not playing into the fact that she's a woman. If you think back to Hillary Clinton, when she debated Trump, she came out with my mother was going to wear them pantsuits, but she came out with her white, paying homage to suffragettes and all of that. And there's nothing against it. But I think KamalA Harris understands that the people in this country, okay, the ones that have a lot of power are the racists and the sexists. So she didn't play into the fact that she is a black woman, although race did come up. Her being a woman didn't, which I was surprised. But race did come up later in the debate. But she came out, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm competent, laying out policy roadmaps, talking about what she wanted to do for the economy and for us everyday folks, building 3 million new homes in her first term because there's a supply and demand issue when it comes to housing. And it is one of the reasons why housing outside of price gouging is so insanely expensive right now. Also talking about children and families who have children and wanting to provide a $6,000 child tax credit. Baby, run me my munions. I will take it today. Okay? Because I already feel like my child is 2 years old. But I felt like at 1, the government should have cut me a check for raising a child to 1. We with the blessing of the Lord, thank you, Father, we have successfully raised this person, okay, to 1 year old. A check should have been cut anyway. But since it wasn't, she has a plan. I'm not saying that her plan is tied to that. Y'all know what I'm saying. Little kiki. But she has a plan. $6,000 child tax credit. That's huge. That is huge to a lot of people. That is transformational to a lot of people. And then to others who may be a little more well off but still considered middle class, that is extremely helpful. So we're talking about economics. We're talking about what she wants to do. How do we get money back into the pocket? $6,000, baby, that can go to child care because at this point, what we're paying in child care, I told my wife the other day, we need to open up a daycare facility, an academy, because, baby, y'all want 1-bedroom downtown rent. That's what child care is costing. It's giving luxury vehicle. I could be pushing the big body bins in what we pay in childcare. We need to open up a facility, okay? Because I didn't know. I had heard about it all these years, but I didn't know. So that $6,000, that would be hugely transformational. That would be extremely, extremely helpful. For us alone, that would pay, what, 4 months? Four months and some change? Huge. So I think Kamala Harris did a good job by introducing economic policies that would help everyday folks because we always need somewhere to live. Keeping in mind we have unhoused people in this country, but we always need somewhere to live. And we all can see that housing is insanely expensive. And for those of us that have children or for those of us that want children, passing that child tax credit would be transformational. Putting money back into the pockets of the people instead of tax breaks for the wealthy and the rich, which is what Republicans have been doing forever. Trickle-down economics ain't worked. Let's push it up. We, the people, are the ones that spend our hard-earned dollars that continue to make billionaires billionaires, that make rich people rich people. And I'm not even coming at the fact that you're rich, because if you built something, if you've created a business, more power to you. I got a business. My wife has a business. We ride with business owners around here. But what I understand as a business owner and as an everyday person, still a middle-class person, is in that business, a good part of that business functioning are the people that work for me. The people that do the stuff that I don't do so that I can do this. The people in the background that y'all would never, well, let me not say never meet, but that you may not necessarily meet. Those are the people that assist the person in building that business for them to get to rich status, if that's what they're trying to acquire. So as a person who is a business owner, who's run several businesses at this point, who at one point had a staff of 18 people, 18 contractors working under me and my wife. We had 18 people contracted working under us at the same time, not like throughout the year, at the same time. We were doing that type of volume in our business. I understand we wouldn't be able to do that type of volume. We would not have, back then, we would not have been able to do that type of volume if we did not have those people that showed up to work every day. And so the people deserve relief. The people deserve to have a life where they are not just surviving, but they are thriving. And thriving gets to look different for every person. But I would say at baseline, thriving is being able to pay for wherever you live, whether you're renting or you have a mortgage, being able to have a car. I ain't talking about a big body Benz. That may be my dream car, but a functional car, being able to afford gas money, being able to afford childcare, being able to afford food for you, your family, for the kid, for the lunch, all the things, clothes, shoes, be able to take a vacation every once in a while to just woosah and enjoy your family, be able to go out to eat at a nice restaurant here or there, be able to take your kid to the amusement park, to do the things and still be able to save. That's thriving. And I don't think that's too much to ask, because we live in a world, we live in a society where we have billionaires with exorbitant wealth. Exorbitant. And baby, if you can afford your yacht, afford your yacht. But in what world you will never be able to make me understand how we have people with that much wealth and we still have so many people suffering and just surviving as opposed to thriving. Well, you got seniors, well, up until recently with the Biden-Harris administration capping the cost of insulin for seniors and other drugs to come. But you have seniors trying to ration after they didn't work all their life, trying to ration if they can afford the medications that they may need in their old age because they are surviving barely on Social Security. You're not going to be able to convince me that that is a fair and equitable system and that that should be the way it should be when we live in one of the most richest countries in the world. So when I look at these two candidates and I look at Kamala Harris, who's fighting for the people, and Donald Trump, who's really fighting for himself. Let's be clear. I've said he's fighting for billionaires and trillionaires and all that, all the corporations, but he's fighting for himself. He wants to be in the number with them. And he got some money on him. But that's how he sees himself. He does not see himself as one of the people. He's not. He's never fought for us, and particularly black folks. Even last night at that debate, when he's talking about Haitian migrants eating dogs and cats and domesticated animals, which is false, is disgusting and it's racist. Even when he had an opportunity to apologize for what he did to the Central Park Five, taking out a full-blown ad back in the day calling for the death penalty of black and brown boys who did not commit the crime, spent their life in prison only to be exonerated later because someone chose to be honest about them actually committing the crime. They then get out, go on trying to live their life in the way in which they could. And he had an opportunity to say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was wrong for taking out that full-page ad calling for your death only to find out that you were innocent. But instead, what he did was, they pled guilty and now all of a sudden they're innocent. They were railroaded. They were young black boys back in the day when the justice system did not care for us, when people were not only killing black folks in the street, but locking us up for no good reason, railroading us, pressuring us into taking plea deals because we didn't have access to good legal representation. That's what happened, Donald. And you played a role in trying to get those boys murdered by the state. And last night, when you had the opportunity to simply say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I shouldn't have done that. Real simple. You can't take the page back, but you can't apologize for it. You chose to double down. So he's not one of the people. He's not. He's shown in his character he does not care about humanity. There is a lack of human consideration in this man and in the policies that he wants to press forward. So when I look at the two candidates, I'm voting KamalA Harris. I'm voting KamalA Harris. And I would encourage you to vote for KamalA Harris. Because the economic policies are for us. The monions in our pocket are for us. The humanity for us. Government is to do the most good for the most people. That's government's function. So what are you going to do about it? I'll be voting. I'm voting early. Make sure my vote is in. How are you voting?